Hello friends, welcome to ASP.NET tutorial. In this video, we are going to add a combo box under the paging template. So this video is to learn how to customize paging template with our own control. In the previous two videos, we saw how the pagination side of the DetailsView Control displayed the numbers as well as next, previous, first and last options. So those are all the predefined configuration, and this time we will edit the paging template so that user can pick a specific record using the combo box. It's also possible to customize the paging template, so that's the template, with our own controls. With our own control in the sense, in the screenshot, we saw a combo box and a button. It's also possible to specify a text box, and when user types the employee ID and hit enters, the corresponding record will be displayed in the details page. So that way we can customize the paging template and allow the user to navigate to a specific record. So under page setting, we can find a position property, and if you see here, the position property contains all these values: bottom, top, right, and top and bottom. So this tells where we want to position the paging controls. So for example, if this is your detailed record, so far we saw the paging controls are displayed in the bottom. That means by default this bottom option is chosen and paging controls are displayed below the detail view control. It's also possible to display the paging control in the top or in both sides. That means in top as well as in the bottom. Using edit template option, we can edit the pager template with our own controls. That's what we are going to see in this video. We want to add a combo box as well as a push button to move to the specific record number. At runtime, if we want to access these controls, we must use bottom page row. This control, in the sense here we are talking about adding our own custom control, right? We can access those controls at runtime using the bottom page row or top pager row, right? It depends on the position where you are positioning the paging control. So if paging controls is in the top position, right, then you can use the property top page row. Now we will add a combo box to pick a specific record. Now we will go to the demo. Our example, here is our example, right? Now we will select our control and under the quick menu option, go for edit templates. And here, if you see, there are multiple templates available: footer template, header template, empty data template, and pager template. Let me go for the header template, right? And in this header template, let me place a label control, and I will set this label text as employee record, right? And font, let us go with a bold font. Size, we will pick X large, right? So this is the employee record. underline, let me set it to true. So this is the way you can edit a template. Now here I'm choosing end template editing. Save, and when you go to source, you can see header template is added with a label, right? The header template opening and closing tags are highlighted. In between, the label tag is sandwiched. The same way, we can go ahead and choose edit template, and we can edit the pager template. This time we picked the pager template, and we will drag and drop the drop down list. We'll expand it. Then we will place a button, and we will name these controls. So I'm choosing properties here, and naming this as DDL-emp. So you can size it accordingly, alright, for the better viewing option. And button here I'm choosing and naming this as BTN pick. So that's all, and now we can go for end template editing. Right now, if you see the pagination side of the DetailsView Control is showing a combo box as well as a button, and the header text is showing employee record. Alright, now first we will handle the data bound event for our right 5 years after the control has been data bound, right? That's the event we want to handle. Double click here, and you are in the code view. So when browser renders a detail view, it renders it as a table. We know that, right? We saw that in our previous examples. We positioned paging in the bottom, right? You can see the positioning or navigation we specified in the bottom, or we set position property it will be under pager setting. So position, if you see, by default it is in the bottom. So we positioned paging in the bottom, and hence bottom row has only one cell with 2 control. Bottom row means this one. So this is a single cell, but it contains 2 controls. Right? If you go to the source, you can see pager template. Right? This is the pager template. We already talked about a header template, and this one is the pager template. Pager template, if you see, it contains 2 controls inside it. Right? One is the drop down list, and another one is the button. Now we are in the data bound event. So if you see here, under the data bound detail view, so dv employee dot bottom pager row, right? dv employee is, so what is the name we gave? So detail view, right? We will name it as DV employee. Right. So this is the control, detail view control we are accessing here under the data bound event, and we are accessing the bottom pager row property. You can see gets a details view row object that represents the bottom pager row in the detail view control, right? So the bottom pager row is this one, right? But it contains two controls in it. So but first we are getting the bottom row, or we can call it as a paging row, right? Detail view row, single row, and we know that it contains only one cell. But other stuff, if you see, this contains two cell, right? This header as well as the paging template contains only one cell. That's why we are accessing paging row. We already have it, right? So paging row dot cells of 0, right? Since it contains two control in it, we are making use of find control method, and we are giving DDL EMP. That means this is the control. DDL EMP, if you want to see it, go with edit control, pager template. This is the name we gave, right? DDL EMP. So that's what we are accessing it at runtime, right? DDL EMP. So this will give us the drop down list, and we are storing that here. Now we have the drop down list in hand. Now it's easy to get the selected item from the drop down list. So user will pick a specific record, right? We need to know which record user selected from the drop down list. So that's what we are going to write next. So which record user picked is it should be in the event that is specific to the drop down list. So now what we have to do, we have to populate the drop down list with the employee IDs. But here, for simplicity reason, I'm just adding the record numbers, record 1, 2, 3, like that, right? So here we are forming the loop, for loop, dv employee dot page count. So dv employee is our detail view, right? We know that our detail view is already bound to the SQL data source. Since it is already bound to the SQL data source, which is picking records from the employee table, it knows the page count, right? If there are 40 employees here, what we saw, so it is 45 employees, right? So page count will be 43. That's the total number of records, right? So we will be getting 43 here, and based on that we are forming a loop and adding items as record 1, 2, 3 up to 43, right? At this stage, if you run this, you will be seeing all the records here, 43 records. So the more user-friendly way is adding the first name here, right? That will be easy to pick, or adding the emp ID in a sorted way, right? But for simplicity reason, here we are just adding record 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, right? Okay. Now let's move ahead. So we need to set the page index property of our detail view. So here if you see dv employee.page index, that we are setting it as the selected index. So by default, the selected index will be the very first record. That means record 1 will be selected and shown in the combo box. So that's what we are setting it here. Next, we need to handle this button click event. For that, we need to go to edit template, or we can invoke the properties, and so it's not showing it, right? So then we need to move to the edit template, go to Pager template, click on this button, invoke the properties, move to events, and on button click we need to do some action. That means we need to pick the record and show that in the detail view, right? So we're handling this button click event now. So if you see here, inside this event handler, like we did previously, we are getting the bottom row, right? The same stuff whatever we did previously. Then we are picking the DDLEMP combo box, right? And we are storing that as DDLEMP. Then from DDLEMP we are getting the selected index. So which index user selected, and that index property we are setting it to the page index property of our detail view. Now that's all. So once you set page index, the record will be displayed in the detail view control. Getter sets index of the displayed record. That means a DB employee is a detail view, right? So to our detail view, using the page index, we are navigating to the specific record at runtime. Now we will run this. Right now, if I click record number 3, and this is still button, right? We will name it as pick. We will run this again. And if you see, when page is loading, it is showing the record number 1. Let me pick record number 3, and when I click pick here, it will show the specific record, right? You can choose 12 and navigate to that specific record. So this is one way of navigating by using our customized control. Here if you see, we used record 12, record 14, like that. It will be useful if you take some of the existing record data and populate that as a combo box. That helps the user to pick the specific employee by his first name or last name, right? Alright, that's all here in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.